Chief Sam Dotson, the St. Louis Police Chief, said that you can say Black Lives Matter and support the police, that the two aren't mutually exclusive. Do you see many folks on either side who would agree with that?
That's what I mean when I'm saying about, are we getting beyond the rhetoric? Talk to any, Black Lives Matter leader, person on the street. There's not a hate for police. There's a hate for injustice. And so, people have varying experiences. And the God's honest truth is that in Black and brown communities, we're over-policed. In Black and brown communities, there's more violence and interactions with police. People have known that for years. We don't come up with this benevolent idea of the police. That's not our interaction with the police in urban, poor, Black and brown communities. It just isn't our experience. And they don't just have to be white. This is how policing is done.
The young lady in the youth piece there, yeah. Her house is divided, I think were her words. It's a police family and an African American family.
Yeah, and so it's not that we think that all cops are bad or anything like that. I think people are pretty clear about that, but I think we're also very clear about our experiences with the police and the system of police. And you got to be honest, the country still hasn't been honest about the history of policing and how it was organized really to police brown and Black people. And so until we can address that history, until we can listen to the experiences of not just people in St. Louis, but all across the country about how they're experiencing policing, and then we can sit down together and say, okay, this is what we're experiencing. You're a human being. A police officer is a human being. When I'm standing at a protest line, I see a human being. I'm not seeing a blue wall. I see a person standing in front of me, and they're always human to me. I just want to be human to them.
Do you see people? Are people listening?
I think so. I think that, there's just a lot of rhetoric around, Black Lives Matter saying, we don't like the police, or we're not accepting of the police. And I think, Chief is just, he's stirring that up, and it's not helpful. It's like, Chief, sit down and talk to us. Have a conversation with us. We want to build relationships with you. We want to help you make the changes that need to be made. Even your own Black officers inside your department that wear blue just like you and bleed blue just like you are also calling for changes within the department. So you gotta at some point open up and say, okay, let me stop, the rhetoric, and let me sit down and have a conversation.
I think that was what was so impressive with the police chief in Dallas. I mean, some of his words over, after the tragedy, that guy he is spot on.
We have about 30 seconds left. So it sounds, we started out, I was asking if you had any optimism. It sounds like you do, in the fact that we're even having this conversation now. Final thoughts of in about 15 seconds that can take us out with any more optimism.
We're doing the best. We're working. We're working. We're doing what we can do.
We're working. We've been working. We're going to continue to work. And we're open to building relationships beyond the rhetoric.
Relationships beyond the rhetoric will be our takeaway tonight. Relationships it is. Thank you all for being here and for the relationships you offered us tonight.